Hello everyone. Today I will be discussing the imaging spectrum of cerebral aneurysms on CT angiography. I am Dr. Anuj Agarwal from BMMC and Safdarjung Hospital, New Delhi, India. So before going into detail, a brief introduction about what are cerebral aneurysm. They are basically a focal outpouching of the intracranial arteries, and most of them are round or circular in shape. Therefore, they are called a circular aneurysm. And since at the branch point of the vessel, the hemodynamic stress is more, so they are more prone to happen at the branch point of vessels like internal carotid artery, middle cerebral artery branches, or the junction point of the anterior communicating artery with ACA, or the junction point of ICA, that is internal carotid artery with posterior communicating arteries. And the lesser common types of cerebral aneurysms include blood blister aneurysm, which are dome shaped and they are more prone to rupture even at smaller sizes, and the fusiform aneurysm, which are actually complete dilatation of whole circumference of the vessel, and they are more common in the posterior circulation. So, whenever we see a case of a cerebral aneurysm, we should mention its location, whether it is coming in the anterior circulation, that is, this is an internal carotid artery, middle cerebral artery is coming from it, that is MCA. So, at the branch point of MCA, the aneurysm can happen. At the junction of MCA from the ICA, it can happen. And the point of branching of posterior communicating artery from the ICA, it can happen. And similarly, this is a small artery which is connecting the right and the left ACA, anterior cerebral arteries, that is the anterior communicating artery, and at this junctional point it can happen. So if the aneurysm happen in the anterior circulation, it is less prone to rupture rather than in the vertebrobasilar or the posterior circulation. This is the junction of the two vertebral arteries to form the basilar artery, and the basilar artery divides into right and the left posterior cerebral artery, that is PCA. Then there is not a safe limit for absolute size. That means we can't say beyond a particular size the rupture risk would be definitely present, but with increase in the size of the aneurysm, the risk of rupture would definitely increase. Secondly, the shape and the morphology of the aneurysm is also important, that I will tell later on. So our study was aimed to identify various types of cerebral aneurysms on CT angiography depending upon the patient that were presented in our emergency room. And we whenever we got any patient in our radiology emergency room with a suspicion of cerebral aneurysm on the non-contrast CT or on the clinical ground, we did CT angiography study and we reported the CT angiography images in a predefined format, and that helped us to define the particular treatment and management of the patient. So this is the first case in which on the non-contrast CT images, we saw that in the right side of the parietal lobe, a large intraparenchymal hematoma is there, and it is causing mass effect in form of compression of the occipital horn of the right lateral ventricle. And in this image, a small CSF blood level is seen in the left occipital horn of the left lateral ventricle, which shows that interventricular extension of bleed has also happened, and along the sulcal spaces here the bleed is seen. That means it is a subarachnoid hemorrhage with interventricular extension. So we suspected that it can be a case of intracranial aneurysm rupture, and we did CT angiography study, and what we found was that in the right MCA, in the cortical branches, the focal outpouching is there, which is oriented superolaterally and it is away from the bone surface. So this is one aneurysm. And then again on the left side, again in the cortical branch of left MCA, that is middle cerebral artery, another aneurysm is shown. And in the subsequent images, when we scroll down, we also observed few other aneurysms on the right side and on the left side. So this was a case of multiple cerebral aneurysm in the distal cortical branches of middle cerebral arteries, which is slightly a rare phenomena, and the child might be having connective tissue disorders also, which can predispose to multiple cerebral aneurysm in a younger age. And this was the second case in which on the non-contrast image we saw a round well-defined hyperdense lesion in the territory of left middle cerebral artery, left MCA. And on CT angiography study we saw that a part of the lumen was showing contrast filling and rest of the lumen was not showing any contrast filling. That shows that the only part which is showing the filling of contrast is having a patent lumen, and rest of that was, and the remaining part was thrombosed. So this was a case of partially thrombosed left MCA giant aneurysm, and these are the VRT images showing beautifully the case. And then the third case came, in which in the supraclinoid part of left MCA, left ICA, we show a hemispherical or dome shaped outpouching, which is a blood blister aneurysm, and they are very important to be identified as they are more prone to rupture even at a smaller size thus compared to the saccular aneurysms. And then this is the last case for today, in which we saw that on the non-contrast images in the interpeduncular fossa in front of the brainstem, a round hyperdensity is there, and when we did CT angiography study, we found that it is a basilar artery aneurysm, and the basilar artery aneurysm can also involve the right and the left PCA, that is posterior cerebral arteries. This VRT image is clearly showing the basilar tip aneurysm in the basilar artery. So which is a rare phenomenon, because usually 90% of the cerebral aneurysm involve the anterior circulation, and this is one of the case in which posterior circulation is involved. So in our results, we found that we saw cerebral aneurysm in around 250 patients who had non-traumatic subarachnoid hemorrhage, which was seen on NCCT, that is non-contrast CT, and most of the patient had anterior circulation aneurysm, with posterior circulation aneurysm noted in only around 14% of the cases, and few of the patients had multiple aneurysms also. And we concluded that CT angiography is very good study, and it produces very good result, and we detect even very small size of cerebral aneurysms also on CT angiography, and we can make the management decisions if we perform a particular format, including the location, because the posterior ones are more prone to rupture, orientation, how it is oriented superolaterally, anteromedially in space, then size. Three things I will tell with the help of a schematic diagram in the coming slide. Then morphology, if it is irregular or if it is showing any beaking, then it is more prone to rupture. Any branch taking off from the aneurysm need to be described, and any other aneurysm can also be associated, multiple aneurysms can be there. And for intervention purpose, if any bovine arch or any aortic arch anomaly is there, or any congenital anomaly is there, that need to be told to the intervention radiologist, so that proper prior planning can be done. And this is the diagram which shows the neck width. When it is more than 4 mm, it is wide, and in that case simple coiling can't be done, and if it is narrow neck, then simple coiling can be done. Similarly, the height divided by neck ratio, that is called as the aspect ratio. When it is less than 1.6, that means the neck is wide. Similarly, the width divided by the neck width ratio, when it is less than 2, that means the neck of the aneurysm is wide. And in case of wide neck aneurysm, the management would be different, simple coiling can be done. And in case of narrow neck aneurysm, the management decisions would be different. So these things has to be told in the report. These are my references. Thank you.